People say piano is one of the best hobbies you can have. Impressive, relaxing, attractive, and somehow it makes you look smarter than you actually are. So, 1 year ago, I sat down and decided to give it another shot. I thought I'd be playing Chopin within a year. I am still nowhere near playing Chopin. But after a year of practice, I can finally answer one question. Is piano actually worth learning? Today, I'll rate piano on fun, difficulty, cost, and long-term reward. And by the end, I'll tell you exactly who should and shouldn't learn piano. Now, let's start with fun. Piano is one of the most rewarding hobbies I've tried. When you first start, even playing a simple melody feels amazing. A few months later, you're playing songs that seemed impossible when you began. Progress is surprisingly visible. The downside is that practice can be repetitive. Sometimes you'll spend 20 minutes playing the same 4 bars over and over again. Still, the feeling of finally getting a piece right makes up for it. For fun, piano gets a 4 out of 5. This category isn't just about skill, it's also about how hard the hobby is to fit into your life. Skill-wise, piano is deceptively difficult. Playing a few songs isn't that hard. Becoming genuinely good is. You need technique, rhythm, hand independence, dynamics, sight reading, and years of consistent practice. The lifestyle difficulty surprised me even more. You need access to an instrument. You need a place where you can practice regularly. And unlike some hobbies, it's hard to keep progressing while traveling or spending long periods away from home. I noticed that every time I stopped practicing consistently because of traveling or preparing for finals, my progress slows down almost immediately. Piano rewards consistency more than intensity, and missing a week feels very different here than in most other hobbies. For difficulty, I give piano a 2 out of 5. Compared to many serious hobbies, piano is relatively affordable. A decent digital piano can last for years. Most beginner resources are free. And once you own the instrument, there usually aren't many ongoing expenses. Of course, lessons and acoustic pianos can get expensive. It's not the cheapest hobby out there, but compared to things like golf, skiing, or horse riding, it's pretty reasonable. So piano gets a 4 out of 5 for cost. This is where piano shines. It's the skill you can enjoy for decades. You never really run out of things to learn. A year later, I'm still very much a beginner. But that's part of what makes it rewarding. There's always another song to learn, another technique to improve, another challenge waiting. Even if you never become an amazing pianist, you still end up with a skill that stays with you for life. Very few hobbies have such a high ceiling while remaining enjoyable at every level. For long-term reward, piano gets a perfect 5 out of 5. That brings piano's total score to 15 out of 20. So, would I recommend it? Yes, but not to everyone. I'd recommend piano to people who enjoy long-term projects, people who are patient, people who don't mind slow progress, and people looking for a hobby that can stay with them for the rest of their lives. Who shouldn't learn piano? People who want quick results, people who get bored easily, and people whose main goal is meeting new people. Piano is mostly a solo hobby. If social connection is your priority, there are much better options like dancing, martial arts, or group fitness. After 1 year, I'm nowhere near being a great pianist. In fact, the more I learn, the more I realize how much I still suck. But despite that, I still look forward to sitting down and playing. And that's probably the strongest recommendation I can give. So, that's piano, 15 out of 20. I'd love to know where you'd land and what hobby I should put to the test next. drop it in the comments. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got another month ahead of me learning a piece some 12-year-old on YouTube mastered 3 years ago.